championship week in Prince George's County as High Point and Crossland, the #1 and #2 seeds, go at it in the 4A Southern Regional Championship game. Hello, everybody. Glad you can be with us here. I'm Gus Johnson, along with Coach Gary McCorkle. And, Coach, as you said earlier, just what the doctor ordered, the #1 and #2 seeds going at it, and perfect day and perfect teams for a great basketball contest.
I think the goal of any tournament is to have the top two teams play, and that's what we have here tonight. We have Crossland undefeated, and they did play with High Point once this year. They beat them 80-79 at High Point.
Now, when you look at the two teams, we'll start with High Point, a very good team, two very big players down low, but they're pretty much paced by Jared Stinson, who's averaging 22 points a game. He's a guard, and he goes, and so does this team go.
Coach Welch can just sit back and relax when the ball is in Jared Stinson's hands. He has the two twin towers inside. If you double up on those guys, Jared will kill you from the outside.
Now, as far as Crossland is concerned, they come into this game undefeated. They're also very good. They're a very deep team, playing almost every player on their team at one particular time. However, Antoine Stokes is a very good player for them, and he pretty much is their leader.
Antoine handles the ball very well. He distributes it well. But the key to look for is a guy called the spark plug. Number 50, Omar McKenzie. He makes that team go.
So, as we said, folks, good ball game set for you. The championship of the 4A Southern Regionals. I'm Gus Johnson, along with Gary McCorkle. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups along with the opening tip-off when our coverage of high school basketball continues right here on Channel 12. And welcome back to Novak Fieldhouse in Prince George's County, Maryland, where the second-seeded High Point Eagles are preparing to rumble with the #1 seeded Crossland Cavaliers. I'm Gus Johnson, along with Gary McCorkle, and let's take a look at your starting lineups. And for the High Point Eagles in their backcourt, they're led by Nicky Edmond and Jared Stinson. Up top, Eric Poole, Kevin Jackson, and Dexter Barton, who's been performing fabulously so far during the tournament.
I want to look at the twin towers. Eric Poole is 6'8", and Kevin Jackson is 6'9". Of course, you have the overall ball handling of Nicky Edmonds and the play of Jared Stinson. High Point known for their full-court patented pressure. And, of course, Coach Welch is no stranger to these kind of playoff games.
Head coach Ernie Welch is 232-58 lifetime, 160-38 at High Point. He's won 5 regional championships, 2 state titles, and has been named Coach of the Year 3 times. Now, as far as the starting lineups for Crossland is concerned, Antoine Stokes, Sam Lewis in the backcourt. Stokes, probably the best player on this team. Up front, Lawrence Littleford, Julian Peterson, and Curtis Howard.
It's going to be a good inside matchup as Littleford and Houston will have to go head-to-head with Poole and Jackson. Of course, I like the spark plug. Number 50, Omar McKenzie for Crossland. Crossland has a good pressure zone of their own, and Coach Franklin has been doing everything well this year, pressing all the right buttons. Look forward to a good game with his team.
Crossland, coached by Levi Franklin in his second season. His team 22-0 this year. They were 14-10 last year. And he was also on a state championship high school team back in 1984 at Central High School. So those are the lineups. And when we come back, we'll have the opening tip-off for you when our coverage of high school basketball continues right here on Channel 12. School basketball at its best is the #1 seeded Crossland Cavaliers are all set to face the second-seeded High Point Eagles. Gus Johnson, Gary McCorkle with you, getting ready for the jump ball. And for High Point in the center, number 52, Kevin Jackson. And for Crossland, they also send number 52, Lawrence Littleford. And you got a great matchup set up for today.
We have an excellent matchup inside, 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and 6'6" on both teams, and 2 very good quick point guards.
And the tip is controlled by High Point. Eagles in the blue uniforms, and Crossland comes out in the man-to-man. Tyrone Walter, your point guard. First jump shot partially blocked by Kevin Jackson. And here come the Cavaliers.
You see the Crossland wants to run at every occasion.
Antoine Stokes, the point guard. Jump shot rolls in and out by Sam Lewis. Rebounded and put back up and in by Lawrence Littleford. First 2 points of the game goes to Crossland. Here's Stinson off the break, inside to Jackson, and he has it blocked on the backboard by Curtis Houston. But there is a foul on the play. That'll be Houston's first foul. And it sends Eric Poole to the line.
That's the type of play we can expect to see tonight, with both teams going hard to the offensive baskets.
Eric Poole steps to the free throw line. He's a 50% free throw shooter, averaging 20 points a game, and he's on his way to Richmond next season. First free throw by Eric Poole is good.
Last time down the floor, Crossland went into their patented 1-2-1-1 full court press. We can expect High Point to do something similar, even on their first possession down on defense.
6'8" senior for High Point. Turning in good performances all year. Rebounded by Lawrence Littleford. They go down low. And the ball is blocked. And a foul will be called against Eric Poole. That sends Curtis Houston to the line for 2 shots.
High Point went into their half-court trap that time. As we can see, both teams are well schooled on that. They both tried to get the easy basket inside with a long lob pass.
Curtis Houston, 6'6" senior, averaging 13 points a game. He's a 70% free throw shooter. And for Coach Levi Franklin, he uses almost everybody on his bench. So be prepared. A lot of substitutions being made into this game. 3-1 is your score. Just underway here from Novak Fieldhouse. Championship game of the 4A Southern Regional Final. Dexter Martin with the baseline jumper. Rebounded by Stinson. He turns it over. 3-on-1 break. They go down low, and the easy bucket by Sam Lewis.
Stinson seemed to slip on that pass on the sideline there. We had some problems with that last night in both games.
2-2-1 full court press. And Tyrone Walter handles the pressure, and he's fouled on the floor. Foul on Antoine Stokes, his first, the team's second. 6:41 remaining in the first quarter of play. 5-1 is your score. Crossland getting out to a quick start on High Point. These two teams met earlier during the year at High Point, and the Cavaliers walked away with an 80-79 victory. Stinson jump shot off the mark. Jackson inside, his own rebound, and has it blocked. Walter with the rebound. His shot won't go. Poole can't get it to fall. It's blocked again, this time by Littleford on the break. And an offensive charging foul called against Curtis Houston. Pretty good defensive play there by Dexter Martin to step in and draw the charge.
Yes, he saw that he was kind of out of control that time, so he did a smart thing to draw the offensive foul.
.605 left in the first quarter. And Crossland still goes with the 2-2-1 press. Here's Stinson for 3. His shot won't fall. Rebounded by Jeremy Luck. And a rebound by Kevin Jackson down low. And Jared Stinson rather, comes out with the basketball. And he nails the jumper.
Key for High Point is for Stinson to establish himself early, and he's doing just that.
Jared Stinson averaging 22 points a game. He's their leader. He can play either point guard or shooting guard, and in pressure situations, he'll handle the ball a lot. Baseline jumper by Luck off the mark. Carr, Stokes. His jumper is short. And a whistle on the play, out of bounds. Ball will stay with the Cavaliers.
Stokes may have forced that shot a little earlier. Coach Franklin's telling him to slow the ball down and make sure it's distributed from side to side. High Point is switching up on the defenses. They've gone to a 1-3-1 half-court trap.
Stokes to the basket. His shot won't fall. Rebounded by Eric Poole. And a traveling violation assessed against Tyrone Walter. The senior guard got a little crossed up, and he shuffled his feet. 4:49 remaining in the first quarter of play. 2 turnovers so far for High Point, only 1 for Crossland. 5-3 is your score. Here's Stokes. Rebounded inside, blocked. Peterson rather, and his shot is good.
That was Omar McKenzie keeping that ball active on the offensive boards there.
7-3 is your score. They get it ahead. Here's Poole to the basket. And a good defensive play by Lawrence Littleford to keep him from scoring. Stutter step, pass down low. Great look to Lawrence Littleford. There making the fabulous pass was Omar McKenzie.
He's the spark plug.
6 points for Littleford. And a foul, offensive foul. This one against Jared Stinson. Jeremy Luck able to establish position on the baseline and come up with the charging foul.
Well, that was a close call, but you get those benefits when it's in front of your bench with all the players jumped up in excitement, yelling at the official to make the call in their favor.
3 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Your score 9-3. Good crowd on hand here at Novak Fieldhouse for this, the 4A Regional Championship game. Inside pass to Jeremy Luck, but it's knocked out of bounds by Eric Poole.
There does not appear to be any easy layups that will be given this game. Both teams playing very aggressive and getting back tough on defense.
Substitutions in now for Crossland. Dominique Coles, who averages 7 points a game, comes in. And according to Coach Franklin, that's the strength that his team has. He plays all 15 guys, and he has a deep bench, unlike High Point, where they play a limited amount of players. Also in the game now for High Point, Mike Hill, number 30, and he turns the ball over. Here's Luck to McKenzie, and a foul on the floor on McKenzie.
McKenzie's in the ball game a little earlier than usual as they're behind in this ball game.
That foul going against Jared Stinson, his second. The team's second. And Stinson cannot afford to get in early foul trouble. In the game now for High Point, Nicky Edmond. McKenzie being trapped in near the baseline, and the ball's knocked out of bounds by Edmond. 9-3. 3:23 remaining in the first quarter of play. Coles. Here's McKenzie. And count it. Omari McKenzie.
Can't say enough about this young man. Good things happen when he has the ball in his hands.
Almost picked off by McKenzie. They get it on the baseline to Martin, and Martin travels with the basketball. So the pressure defense by Crossland already working in their favor.
What we're seeing is Stinson is trying to handle the ball a little bit too much by himself. He's going to have to slow it down and look for some teammates to spread the ball around.
3 block shots already for Crossland.
That is Crossland in lead 11-3.
Now here comes High Point with the 1-2-2 half-court trap. Good ball movement. Ball is blocked by Stinson. Edmond with the rebound. Here's Hill to Stinson for 3. Air ball, but rebounded and put back up high off the glass by Eric Poole.
Stinson is claiming he was hit on that shot.
And another steal. Mike Hill to the basket. His shot won't fall, but a foul underneath. Eric Poole will go to the line. Mike Hill all alone for the layup. Tariq Sharif called for the foul, his first of the game, and more substitutions coming in the ball game for the Eagles.
Not only is the frequent substitutions one of Franklin's trademarks, but because Crossland did not conclude their game last night until after 11 o'clock, you expect to see quite a few substitutions to keep fresh guys on the floor.
Tyrone Walter back in at the guard position along with Kevin Jackson. And Eric Poole steps to the line and is short on his first free throw attempt. He's 1 for 3 from the stripe this evening. Second shot off the mark. Rebound by Tariq Sharif. McKenzie down low to Stokes, who changes his shot. And a good block by Kevin Jackson causes a jump ball situation, but Crossland will retain possession.
Saw the good penetration that time by McKenzie.
As Jared Stinson prepares to come back in, there's Stokes. And he went into the land of the trees, could not draw iron, and ended up causing a foul on Eric Poole. That's their 4th team foul. His second. Full court pressure here by Crossland. Poole has it stolen. This is Sharif. Off the glass for the jumper. 13-5 your score. 1 minute and 47 seconds left in the first quarter of play. Crossland all over High Point. And a whistle on the baseline and another turnover. Jared Stinson stepping out of bounds.
Again, that seems to be a problem. Crossland is forcing him to the right baseline where the trap is, and his only alternative is to go out of bounds to create the turnover.
Uncharacteristically, High Point turned the ball over 7 times already. Stokes inside. Nice dish and layup by Julian Peterson. 15-5, 10-point ball game, and a foul on the floor. This one against Peterson. His first. And the 5th team foul assessed against the 6th team foul assessed against the Cavaliers.
Crossland wants to avoid sending High Point to the free throw line this early in the ball game. It's a 1-on-1 situation.
Walter has trouble. Here's Edmond to the basket, and the big slam by Big Kevin Jackson. 15-7, 8-point ball game. McKenzie almost has his pocket pick. Three-pointer, in and out, rebounded by Lewis. Nicky Edmonds comes up with the rebound. He pulls up. Scramble for the ball, Walter. Jackson tries to put it back in, and a whistle and foul underneath.
Seems the High Point is not used to being behind too often this season, and they're kind of pressing a little bit on the offensive end.
That one goes against Nicky Edmond, the foul, the 3rd team foul against the Eagles. And Coach Ernie Welch decides to get a timeout with 57 seconds remaining and the clock still running. It should be a minute on the clock, but a minute should be left on the clock, but right now it's 38.9 seconds. And there's Ernie Welch. 5-time regional champion, 2 state titles for Welch, along with Coach of the Year honors 3 times. Ernie Welch, 232 and 58 lifetime, where on the other side, there's the young Levi Franklin, Welch's competition today. And this Crossland team, they bring a squad that's 22-0, Gary, into this contest. And they have pretty much just mopped the floor with most people this year.
There was at one point during mid-season where Franklin was almost wishing that his team had one loss to get rid of that burden of being undefeated. Of course, he can't have that happen to him now. He wants to go completely undefeated and go all the way to Cofield House for the state finals.
57 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 15-7 is your score from Novak Fieldhouse in Prince George's County, Maryland, Prince George's Community College. Capacity crowd on hand for this one. Stokes, and the steal by Walter. Walter with the left hand to the basket, blows the layup, rebounded by Edmond, and he can't handle it on the baseline. However, Omari McKenzie steps on the out-of-bounds line, and the Eagles will get the basketball back.
Must say I'm surprised by the amount of turnovers created by both presses, since both teams employ the similar 1-3-1 full court and half court traps. You would think they both would be used to practicing with and against that press throughout the season.
Eric Poole back into the ball game. Here's Martin being guarded by Littleford. They go inside. Poole, and he's fouled on the floor on the entry pass.
There was good patience that time on High Point and working the ball around, looking for the open man.
Jeremy Luck committed the foul. And keep your eye on Eric Poole. He averages 20 points a game. That's the 7th team foul against Crossland. So Poole will go to the line for a 1-and-1 situation. Therefore, for the second quarter, Crossland will play. Well, rather, High Point will play, and they will be in the bonus for every foul.
That's an ideal situation for High Point. With them down 8 points, that deficit can be erased very quickly by stopping the clock and hitting the free throws.
Eric Poole now 2 for 5 from the line. 31.8 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. Second free throw by Poole good. Makes it a 15-9 ball game. He has 5 points. And the Eagles going to stay with the 1-2-2 press. And almost another steal by Walter. And it's out of bounds, and the ball will go to the Eagles as Julian Peterson was unable to hang on to it. 14 seconds remaining in the quarter, 15-9, and here's Tyrone Walter. Down low to Edmond. Edmond's shot won't fall. He has it partially blocked. 4 seconds. Here's McKenzie to the bucket. Nice dish, and it's lost right under the basket by Sam Lewis, and that's how the first quarter of play ends with the score. Crossland on top of High Point, 15-9. Second quarter coming up. House after 1 quarter of play. Crossland leads High Point 15-9, but the foul situation is getting bad for the Cavaliers. They have 17 fouls, and right now High Point will be in the bonus for the entire quarter. Let's take a look at the tournament seedings and how things started, and we know how things have ended. Here are your tournament seedings. Coming in, Laurel was the 6th seed, Bowie the 5th, Largo and Suitland, and the number 1 and number 2 seeds, as expected, meet Crossland and High Point. Crossland 22-0, High Point 17-3. And as far as the turnovers are concerned, 7 turnovers for High Point, 6 for Crossland. And that's another turnover as Jared Stinson picks up the foul. He gets his pocket picked by Julian Peterson.
That's Stinson's second foul as he was called for pushing off on that. Again, it appears he's trying to do a little bit too much by himself and not utilizing his teammates as he should at this point.
Stokes to McKenzie on the baseline. He has it blocked by Kevin Jackson. Jackson, the 6'9" senior forward, hadn't played a lot of basketball, but he's been performing well, and here he is. Boom with the jumper. 4 points for Kevin Jackson. 15-11.
Again, this is Jackson's first year playing organized basketball, so he's doing very well.
McKenzie cut off at the baseline. Arcs for 3 and nails it.
Cannot leave the spark plug alone like that.
Omari McKenzie. Here's Martin. Stinson going baseline. Nice roll and the bucket.
We saw the adjustment that time. Rather than coming down the sidelines, Stinson passed the ball in the middle and was able to get the return pass for the easy lay-in.
Stokes penetrating. Rebounded by Poole. They get it up top. Martin by himself. And smart pass to get it back out to Stinson. Inside, Jackson unable to hang on to it. And Antoine Stokes, comes up with the basketball. Stokes down low to Littleford. He has it stolen. Ahead to Edmond. And he wisely pulls it up. On the baseline, shot rolls in and out for Dexter Martin. Rebounded by Omari McKenzie, and a foul on the floor.
Dexter Martin, a much better shooter from the left sideline than the right baseline. He's missed all 3 attempts from the right side.
And bad news for High Point as Jared Stinson picks up his 3rd foul. So he leaves the ball game, and replacing him, Tyrone Walter. So Jared Stinson, who averages 22 points a game, has to sit with 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter of play, and his team down by 5, 18-13. Nice baseline move by Julian Peterson.
It's a great opportunity for the other Eagles to step up and take over the scoring lead for the absence of Mr. Stinson.
They go inside. Poole hustling, and it's out of bounds. Ball will go to High Point. 5 minutes, 37 seconds remaining in the half. 20 to score from Novak Fieldhouse. Inside to Jackson. He has it blocked. His second shot, though, is good. Kevin Jackson coming up with some prime-time plays here. And it's a 5-point ball game.
Perhaps he'll be the one that will step up to take over the scoring absence from Mr. Stinson.
McKenzie 3-pointer is off. Nicky Edmond with the rebound. And a foul. Inadvertent foul by Lawrence Littleford as his forward progress forced him over the back of Nicky Edmond, and that's going to send Edmond, the 5'11" junior guard, to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 situation. And there's a look at Levi Franklin, the head coach, who in only his 2nd season has his Crossland team at 22-0. In his first year, he was 14-10.
Coach Franklin has the benefit of coaching some guys that have played together for quite a few years, starting for Boys Club.
And on the rebound, Eric Poole quick out of the blocks. He grabs it, and he's fouled underneath. This one coming against Lawrence Littleford. His second. And in the ball game now for Crossland, Jeremy Luck and Curtis Houston. .5:14 left, and Eric Poole 3 for 6 from the line so far. Make it 3 for 7. He's having problems hitting free throws. The big guy has a solid stroke. However, he's not able to get anything going right now. 17 fouls against Crossland and only 5 against High Point, and a turnover.
High Point is going to have to start making some more of those free throws if they want to cut into this Crossland Cavalier lead.
8 turnovers for Crossland. There's Martin to Poole. Jackson misses, but Poole is there for the strong follow.
Both of the Twin Towers were inside on that play, and no one seemed to box either one of them out.
High Point going strong to the glass. 3-point attempt is in for Tariq Sharif. Edmond, jump shot from 12 feet. And it goes out of bounds off a Cavalier player. Looked like Sharif was caught knocking the ball out of bounds. And the referees converge at the table. Into the ball game now for High Point, Brian Chalestri, and he replaces Kevin Jackson. Poole inside, and he's fouled going to the basketball. And once again, it looks like Sharif was caught fouling Eric Poole, and he goes to the free throw line again. And Poole needs to start hitting some of his free throws. You know, he's 3 for 8, Gary.
It appears that some of the high point players look a little tired. On the last possession, Kevin Jackson took himself out of the ball game for a little breather.
And that's what the pressure defense does, is tire you out.
Certainly does.
Almost a traveling violation. Stokes with the 3. Rebounded by Tyrone Walter.
Dexter Martin had a hand in the face, made him adjust his shot.
Shalestri on the baseline. They're looking inside, and the ball is stolen by Sharif to the bucket. He blows the lay, and a foul underneath, or rather a jump ball is the call. Interesting call by lead official Charles Ball. He calls a jump ball. Crossland will hang on to it. And a turnover underneath. High Point gets the ball back, trailing 23-17.
Kevin Jackson reports back in for the Eagles. So down by only 6 points with 3:57 remaining.
And Kevin Jackson turns the ball over off the press. Stokes inside. Good look to Julian Peterson. 25-17. 3:42 remaining in the first half. Walter. Poole to the basket. His shot won't fall. Edmond. And a foul inside. Kevin Jackson. It looks like a jump ball call. There's a conversation between Ball and Wall, and jump ball is the call. 25-17, you score 3 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the half.
One thing we've seen with both teams, they are contesting nearly every shot that goes up. Good aggressive defense on the part of both the Cavaliers and the Eagles.
And some talking right now. Ernie Welch and lead official Charles Ball. Welch not necessarily pleased with that jump ball call, even though his team holds on to the basketball. Here's Tyrone Walter. He has his pocket picked, but he's fouled. This time Curtis Houston knocks him to the floor. Houston almost coming up with the swipe. 3 fouls on Houston. Checking in now, Jeremy Luck. And he replaces Curtis Houston. And stepping to the line, Tyrone Walter, a 60% free throw shooter. 5'10" sophomore.
Again, another excellent opportunity for the Eagles to cut this deficit down by hitting some of these free throws that they're getting.
Walter successful on his first free throw attempt. High Point so far as a team. And the second one is good. So far as a team, High Point 5 for 12 from the stripe. 3:19 left in the first half. Don't forget to stay with us, folks, because after this game, we'll have the players of the game from both teams. And there to knock down a jump shot is Tariq Sharif. And a whistle. And an official's timeout. Sharif having problems with his hands. Rather his arm. It looks like his left shoulder. And Coach Levi Franklin is on the floor right now.
Coach Welch has some concerns about that stoppage of play because he had a fast break, a man under the basket waiting for the pass.
And don't forget to stay with us, because during halftime we'll have statistics, highlights, and also up close and personal interviews with interesting people in the Prince George's basketball area. Pressure defense by Crossland. Hall to Edmond, reverse layup, and he's fouled. Fouled this time by Lawrence Littleford. His third foul, and quickly the Cavaliers are picking up a lot of fouls, and they could be in trouble in the second half.
What we're seeing with the Eagles, too, since the absence of Gerard Stinson, the High Point team seems to be playing better at this particular time, playing more as a team and not relying on one person to do everything. But make no mistake about it, he will be needed by the Eagles before this game is over with.
Nicky Edmond, his first free throw is good. Makes it a 7-point ball game as Gerard Stinson sits on the bench, hoping to get back into this ball game. Second free throw by Edmond. Back of the rim. Rebounded by Julian Peterson.
Well, as a coach in a big game like this, you can't afford to have one of your players pick up 4 fouls in the first half.
Stokes, nice look down low, but Luck unable to slam it in. And it's rebounded by Eric Poole. Here's Hill to Edmond. And Edmond loses control of it, but it's knocked out of bounds by the Cavaliers. (27-20) is your score. 2:13 left in the second quarter. Crossland on top of 5 points. And another foul. This time it looks like an offensive foul. Offensive foul against Dexter Martin. His first foul of the game. Pushing off, trying to go around the pick.
Pushed off on Omar McKenzie, who's very good at getting at least 1 or 2 of those calls per game.
The Eagles going to stay in the 1-2-2. Try to slow things up.
Well, it is an adjustment.
Peterson. Julian Peterson with the bucket. And another steal by Stokes. Ahead to McKenzie. And McKenzie has it blocked. And he's down on the baseline. Mike Hill went high to try to block it, and he fouled McKenzie. But he gets up. 2 shots for McKenzie.
That's something you hate to see at this level. Anytime a player's up in the air like that, only bad thing that can happen if he's fouled quite that hard. You hate to see anyone get hurt. Very fortunate McKenzie was not injured on that play.
So Omari McKenzie steps to the free throw line, an 85% shooter, and he has 4 points so far.
That foul may have affected the free throw, as last night in the semifinals, McKenzie was 16 for 18 from the free throw line.
Crossland having to play today. Kind of a short turnaround for them.
Very difficult to play 2 games in less than 24 hours. And especially with the amount of foul calls called last night, the game lasted over 2 hours.
Second shot. Good. 10-point ball game, 30-20. Crossland starting to take over in the waning moments of the second quarter of play. Both teams in the bonus now. 17 fouls for High Point, and another almost a turnover. Here's Hill going to the basket, and he's hit hard going to the hole. This time by Jeremy Luck, his second. But Mike Hill pops up, and he'll be ready to shoot 2. But that's the second hard foul of the ball game. And that may have been a payback foul.
Well, it seems as though that's the case, Gus. But I tell you something, a lot of respect on that play for Mike Hill. He knew it was coming. He saw the defense coming, but he went hard to the hole anyway, knowing that a possibility of him being fouled hard was very much there. Those kind of plays can turn things around in your favor.
End of the game now. Brian Chalestri replaces Dexter Martin. Martin struggling a little bit in the first half after having such a good game against Laurel yesterday. A minute 40 seconds left in the half. 30-20 is your score, with Mike Hill, a 60% free throw shooter, at the line.
Well, it seems that both teams have sent a message one to another. Now we have to see how the officials are going to call it from here on out. Both teams have had one player knocked down hard to the ground, and hopefully we'll see a clean ball game from this point on.
And the second shot by Hill off the mark, rebounded by Lauren Bush. Here's McKenzie. And Bush throws the ball away. .122 left. Inside, Poole. His shot won't fall. Jeremy Luck with the rebound. .106 left. Nice crossover dribble by McKenzie to the basket and the bucket. But it looks like the official will wave it off. Offensive foul called against Omari McKenzie. Smart play there by High Point to step in front and pick up the offensive charging foul. And as you can tell by the sounds of it, the fans here don't like that call.
Not a popular call.
.30-21 your score. 56 seconds remaining in the half. High Point trailing Crossland in the 4A regional championship. Hill to the basket. Tipped back up by Poole. Scramble for the ball. And it will go to High Point.
On that layup attempt, it seemed that Hill was concerned about getting fouled that time rather than going hard and making an easy lay in. He was looking for some contact.
And with 42 seconds remaining, Jarrett Stinson comes back into the game. He has 3 fouls. His team down by 9.
Obviously, Coach Welch wants to spring him for an open jumper, maybe even a three-point attempt.
And he takes it off the mark.
Now, if you're
rebounded by Sam Lewis. Ahead, and the big slam by Julian Peterson. He climbed the ladder on that play. 32-21. Here's Stinson to the basket. Here. Nice high off the glass layup. 15 seconds, and Coach Levi Franklin calls for one shot as his point guard, Omari McKenzie, sets up the play. 6 seconds on the clock. Here's McKenzie. Jump shot inside is good by Sam Lewis. So at the end of the first half, Crossland doing major damage. They lead it 34-23. Now stick around, because coming up at halftime, we'll have interviews along with statistics and highlights from the first half of play.
You want to alleviate him handling the ball too much right now. Maybe free him off of a couple of picks and get him open for some easy shots and hopefully get him turned on.
So here we go to start the second half of play as Crossland will have the basketball. Stokes in the backcourt, along with Julian Peterson, Jeremy Luck, and Sam Lewis. Inside, nice under and up move by Julian Peterson. He has 12 points.
Crossland was able to penetrate that 1-3-1 half-court press with no trouble that time.
Peterson double clutching in the air for big points. Inside, and the bucket and the foul for Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson, strong performance today, and I know we talked about him not being a player that has played a lot of basketball, but he should attract some kind of scouts with his size and the way he's played in the championships.
Well, I think that's key for him to show himself well here and hopefully to advance his team, to help advance his team to the state finals.
Free throw by Jackson is good. He has 9 points.
because some of the best basketball you'll see in the county will be played here in Novak Arena.
And a steal by Tyrone Walter. Here's Stinson. Back to Walter. Martin inside, and it's stolen by Antoine Stokes. And a kickball. Ball will stay with Crossland.
Yeah, we have two pretty evenly matched teams here, and these guys, as we said already, they played each other once this year. Usually they play twice a year, and it's very difficult to play a team twice and then have to go against them again in the playoffs. Many times it's harder to win here than it is to win once you get to Cole Fieldhouse.
And McKenzie on the baseline shuffles his feet and is called for traveling. 6:57 just underway in the third quarter of play. 36-26 is your score. High Point trying to cut it to to under 10, and a steal. Lewis comes up with it.
That was created by the forward. Passed the ball off to Eric Poole. You don't
Stokes to the basket. He double pumps, and a foul. Looks like it's going to be an over-the-back foul. And it is over the back against Jeremy Luck, his third. Eagles get the ball back. And they get it ahead to Walter. 2-on-1 break. Poole can't hang on to it. Recovers nicely. Cross-court pass to Stinson. And a traveling violation called against Tyrone Walter. Eagles having a hard time getting into their half-court offense.
I think if they would just take the time and slow it down, once they break the press and get into some semblance of an organized offense, they'll find that the baskets will come a lot easier.
As Ernie Welch decides to get a timeout. Rather, Crossland decides to get a timeout. Levi Franklin trying to motivate his kids, and they all have pleasant looks on their face despite being just screamed at by Coach Franklin. But he is a motivator, and you can tell, and your team can't be 22-0 without being a motivator. So
absolutely.
So what about you, Coach? Were you a screamer back in your day?
When I had to be. We didn't quite go 22-0. We were 22-4 the 2 years we won the state championship.
Both years?
Yes.
Okay. 2 state championships for Coach Gary McCork.
So only had to yell 4 times a year.
Never know. Might have to get you out to Maryland or Howard, get you in college coaching.
Well, I am from Maryland. I've let Gary Williams know that I am available.
I hear you. And here's Poole on the break by himself. Bang! Eric Poole with the slam. Makes it a 36-28 game. McKenzie. Rebounded by Dexter Martin. 3-on-2. Walter. Baseline. Nice dish to Jackson. Great look and great bucket by Kevin Jackson from Tyrone Walter. 7-0 run here from High Point. It's a 6-point game, 36-30.
That run is created also by High Point changing up their defenses. Gone to a man-to-man right now.
Bad shot by Peterson. And a foul called on the floor. And it's against Peterson. Jared Stinson, smart enough to hold up his dribble and catch Julian Peterson leaning over him. 6-point game, 5:36 left, 36-30. Starting to get exciting here at Novak Fieldhouse.
This is the kind of game we expected to see, Gus.
3-pointer. Jared Stinson makes it a 3-point ball game with the long-range tray.
Again, you see the Eagles have gone into a little trapping here out of the man-to-man.
And another turnover. Dexter Martin comes up with it. 36-33. 5:04 left in the second quarter.
I'll tell you, Gus, if you look at some of the Cavaliers players, you can see their tongues are hanging out. Some of them need a little break here.
And a loose ball goes to High Point. Only one three-pointer made so far by High Point. The one that Stinson just connected on. And the referees come to the scorer's table. There is some water on the floor. High Point in the middle of a 10-0 run with 4 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play. Three-point ball game, 36-33, and this one may go down to the wire, Gary.
This is what we expected to see, the kind of game we expected to see, Gus. I think what High Point has done, the adjustment in switching up their defenses, has confused Crossland at this point.
And they turn it over on the inbound. Here's McKenzie. Peterson has it blocked. Back up and in by Lawrence Littleford.
A much-needed basket for the Cavaliers.
8 points for Littleford. Edmond to Jackson to Walter for the jumper. Partially blocked. Dexter Martin picks it up. And it's off Eric Poole. Crossland gets the basketball back.
Crossland's going to have to take the time and try and get some penetration to draw some fouls against these Eagles. With half of the third quarter gone, they haven't drawn one foul against High Point. It's a man defense again.
McKenzie playing point guard. He's operating on Stinson. Trying to force him left.
They have to go back to the trap.
They go inside and it's turned over. Kevin Jackson comes up with it, and here's Nicky Edmond.
Good decision.
Edmond for three. Long rebound, and it's saved by Jackson to Poole. And out of the pack comes Houston. And it's out of bounds. Ball will go to Crossland. 15 turnovers for High Point, 15 turnovers for Crossland. Team's getting a little sloppy here as Mike Hill comes back into the ball game, and he replaces Kevin Jackson. Now the winner of this game goes to the state tournament, and obviously playing competition like that helps them. What else do they have to do to prepare?
Well, unfortunately, one problem is that you don't get a chance to get out and scout the other teams in the other regions. So what you have to really do is to concentrate on those things that got you where you are. If you made it to the finals, you're one of the 4 best teams in the state, and continue working on those things that have got you to that point.
And a whistle on the baseline as the two officials converge. Charles Ball and Charles Waugh. And the ball belongs to Crossland. 38-33 your score.
Coach Welch is beside himself. Cannot believe that reversal.
They get it inside. Here's Stokes. Baseline jumper going up high. Beautiful shot by Tariq Sharif.
Shot that one over the outstretched hand of Eric Poole.
Down low, Martin. His shot won't fall. And a traveling violation will be assessed against Omari McKenzie. Negating his basket. Looked like a good call by the official.
Well, again, that's the same area of the floor we had some players slip earlier, so I hope that's not a wet spot over there.
3:09 left in the third. 40-33 is your score. Here's Edmond leading the break. Three-pointer by Stinson. A foul. This one called against Kevin Jackson as he hammers Antoine Stokes on the loose ball.
If you notice on that last play, that was the type of adjustment we expected to see. Number 31, Nicky Evans, brought the ball down the floor, and he dished it off to Stinson, who was wide open for the jumper.
First foul on Kevin Jackson. And the first team foul of the second half for High Point. 7-point ball game, 2 minutes 50 seconds left. 40-33. Here's McKenzie. He's being squozed. Straight ahead, jumper short. Rebounded and put back in by Curtis Houston.
Excellent move by Houston that time. Go to the ball.
And it's stolen. Here's Stokes for three. Jackson with the rebound. Edmond to Martin. And Martin's shot won't fall.
Martin is having a very difficult time shooting from the right side for some reason. He seems to favor, obviously, shooting from the left wing.
Dexter Martin not playing with a lot of confidence right now. Walks out of the game limping slightly. Crossland now on a 6-0 run after High Point went on a 10-0 run. Two minutes, 12 seconds left. 42-33 is your score. Crossland on top of High Point. Three-pointer by Stokes. And there's Kevin Jackson with the rebound. Stinson comes out with it. Edmond from 15, and he's hacked. Julian Peterson with the foul. A minute, 49 seconds left in the third quarter of play. 42-33 is your score. This for all the marbles. The boys 4A regional championship game as the #1 seed Crossland faces the #2 seed High Point. And Nicky Edmond steps to the line. He's 1 for 3 from the stripe. Make that 2 for 4. Edmond, a 70% free throw shooter.
Tariq Sharon's reported back in to give Omar McKenzie a break here.
Nicky Edmond done a solid job leading the team during the playoff.
Good steady ball handling.
Dominique Coles gets caught in a trap, but he wisely gets the ball out. And here's Sharif. Cross court to Coles. Eagles trying to play big right now. Stokes for three. He's short on the jumper. And the ball will go to High Point.
The Crossland's gone to a smaller, quicker lineup now. They're trying to be more patient against the trapping zone half-court defense of the Eagles.
42-35. Both teams staying in the traps. Three-pointer by Jared Stinson. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Again, when he has to get rid of the ball handling responsibilities, he seems to be much more effective tonight.
And a foul on the floor on Nicky Edmond. 2 3-pointers for Stinson. And he has started to really lift his game, especially after he came back at the end of the second quarter.
The great ball players, the seniors, the guys that have been there before know what they have to do. They have to step it up, especially when their team is behind.
And a steal. Jackson to Edmond. Edmond going to the hole. And it's a 42-40 game with 52 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Stick around, folks. We got a good one as the fourth quarter of play is set to begin. And a steal. Edmond scramble for the ball. Jump ball situation. Possession arrow will favor the Eagles from High Point.
This is what playoff basketball is all about. You saw the ball on the floor. You saw 2, 3 guys sacrificing their body trying to get the possession.
High Point on a 7-0 run right now after Crossland went on a 6-0 run. .37.8 seconds left, 42-40. We got a barn burner here from Novak Fieldhouse. This one for the regional championship. And Edmond throws it away. And he has the presence of mind to get back down the court and knock the ball out of the hands of Melvin Atkinson.
Excellent hustle that time by 31 Nicky Edmond.
Great hustle by Nicky Edmond. He is the player that threw the ball away. 35.5 seconds left in the quarter. 42-40 is your score. Eagles looking for a big defensive stop here. McKenzie penetrating. Has it blocked. Jackson comes up with the ball. So with 26 seconds left, High Point can play for the last shot, and Crossland comes out in the man-to-man.
Coach Welch is calling for 4 corners. He wants the ball to go back in the middle of the floor to 41 Jared Stinson and see what he can create in these final 10 seconds.
11 seconds left. Here's Stinson going to go to the cup, and he's fouled on the floor. Tariq Sharif called for the violation. The 5th team foul against Crossland. Not a shooting foul. So High Point will have 7 seconds to put up a shot. Edmond inbounding the ball. Inside, nice look to Stinson. And we got a tie ball game. 3 seconds left. 2 3-pointer. Good! Omari McKenzie nails the 3-pointer with no time left on the clock.
My.
And folks, that's only the end of the 3rd quarter. We got 1 more quarter on the way. And at the end of 3, your score. Crossland 45, High Point 42. Digging away of a possible state championship for one of these teams. At least a chance at a state championship as Crossland leads High Point 45-42, and it all comes down to this. What do these teams have to do to win?
I think what High Point has to do to win, they have to go back inside to their twin towers, and once they find that Cross is going to have to double team some of the big guys inside, it's going to leave Stinson wide open for his 2- and 3-point jumpers from the wing. Cross is going to have to cut down on their turnovers, continue to press is working effectively, make the layups, and get the twin towers in foul trouble.
45-42, and there are some problems on the floor. It looks like there's some water in the far corner of the floor.
What an exciting end, Gus, to that 3rd quarter. We have to give credit to number 42, Dexter Martin, for setting a good screen that allowed Jared Stinson to come in and temporarily tie the game. And we saw the spark plug, number 50, Omar McKenzie for Crossland, had the presence of mind to get off a good shot, a 3-pointer from half court at the end of the 3rd quarter.
And McKenzie, the fascinating thing about that shot is that he took the 3-pointer. He knew how much time was on the clock. He was controlled and patient, went up and did not hesitate and just buried it.
He's used to having the ball in his hands in these kinds of situations.
And the officials meet with both teams to set some ground rules for this last quarter of play. And you can guess, folks, that it's going to be a quarter played to the fullest for both sides, because the loser goes home for the season and the winner advances. A lot of seniors on both teams. So here we go. Here's McKenzie. And he has it stolen. And he comes right at us, folks. Jared Stinson. Fortunately, he has probably about a 36-inch vertical, because if he had a 35-inch vertical, he would have been right in the lap of the coach.
Well, I tell you, he's wearing number 41, and that's a number that I played with, but I don't want to see any more 41s on my chest.
He had about a size 14 that'll be in your chest. His foot. 45-42. offensive charging foul called against Curtis Houston.
Heads up play by number 31, Nicky Edmond that time.
4 fouls on Houston, and Crossland's going to press full court, man to man.
It makes the offense a man-to-man press, but I expect him to go back to some zone once he get back past half court.
Here's Edmond. He's still being trapped.
So there he goes to 2-2-1.
They get it to Stinson. Stinson inside. Off shot by Poole. He goes back up and nails it.
Again, the Twin Towers getting second and third opportunities. Cross going to have to box out and rebound better.
1-point game, 45-44.
Coach Franklin's going to counter that by bringing number 52, Lawrence Beautiful, back in to play center.
And a foul on Omari McKenzie. This one going against Stinson. His 4th foul. So that's a big one for Jared Stinson.
And Stinson is quite upset with himself, too. He knew it's a foul he did not have to commit.
So he leaves the ball game. With 13 points. And it's out of bounds. Antoine Stokes steps on the line. High Point gets it back. Here's Poole to Edmond. Ahead to Dexter Martin.
You want to see your guards come and get the ball in a situation like that. You don't want your 6'8" centers bring the ball down the floor.
Here's Tyrone Walter. Man-to-man defense. Inside. Good look.
That's 2 rebounds.
Again. And Kevin Jackson nails it. And for the first time, Crossland relinquishes their lead. High Point leads at 46-45. McKenzie inside, hanging for the jumper.
And looking for the foul. Looked like there was a lot of body contact there.
Edmond, 3-on-2, to the cup. And the horses are starting to run now, folks.
We've got a ball game.
Here's McKenzie the other way. Rebounded by Poole.
McKenzie went to the right-hand layup, but layup try on the left-hand side that time. Seemed to affect the shot.
Poole inside. Rebounded by Martin. And he travels.
Yes, he did. Excellent call by Charles Ball there. For some reason, Martin seems to be out of sync with his regular ball game.
Tyreek Sheriff comes back into the game. And a timeout on the call. As High Point and Coach Ernie Welch wants to talk it over a little bit. 6:02 left. 48-47 is your score. High Point on top of Crossland by 1. Only the second time that they've led for this ball game.
I think what we have to see Crossland do is to get back into their regular flow. I hope that they're not feeling the effects of that tiredness from playing so late last night. But they're well coached, and they realize that there's always time for rest tomorrow. But they have to go all out for this remaining 6 minutes and 2 seconds of this ball game.
Now let's take a look at the team fouls for Crossland. They have 16 fouls, so the next foul will be a shooting foul for High Point, and only 14 fouls against the Eagles. Timeouts, High Point with 3 left. Crossland only 2. And as far as the turnover situation is concerned, Crossland has 18 and High Point 16. Now this Crossland team, you would favor them down the stretch because of their guards.
Well, you want to get the ball into the hands of a seasoned guy like number 10 right here, Antoine Stokes. He knows how to handle the pressure. He knows how to find the open man.
And a three-pointer off the mark by Sheriff. Again, he shoots the air ball, and Poole comes up with it. scramble for the ball. And Antoine Stokes is on the bottom of the pile.
With 6'8", Eric Poole and a couple of other players on top of him.
And the possession arrow goes to High Point as Stokes gets up a little gingerly, clutching his middle finger on his left hand.
Sharon seemed to force those two shots. It did not come in the regular flow of the offense. I'm sure that's not what Franklin wanted to see.
And Tyrone Walter turns the ball over. 17th turnover for High Point. End of the ball game now comes the other Twin Tower, Kevin Jackson, who's been having an excellent game. He replaces Brian Chalestri.
Walter, just a sophomore, created that last turnover. We expect the ball to go back into Mickey Edmonds' hands next time down the floor.
And a turnover, this time Tyreek Sheriff, who has taken two ill-advised shots along and now turned the ball over.
Teammate Sam Lewis just told him to calm down, plenty of time to go.
And surprisingly, Omari McKenzie is not in the ball game now, and he has pretty much been leading the way for this Cavaliers ball club.
Well, he's not in any serious foul trouble, and we should expect to see him back very shortly.
5:20 left, 48-47. High Point on top of Crossland. Here's Edmond being guarded by Stokes. Looking inside for the big guys. Jared Stinson not on the floor right now. And a foul, blocking foul. This one called against Curtis Houston. Mickey Edmond, a very smart player, knows his limitations, and he works within his own game.
He went inside, he saw that he had a lane open, he went through and was able to draw the foul.
And that should be 5 fouls for Curtis Houston. He leaves the game with 3 points.
That takes out a 6'6" senior forward. Again, I expect High Point to take advantage of that by looking inside, going back to the Twin Towers.
Now he'll have to hope that his teammates can keep the season alive for him. He a senior.
Coach Franklin has felt very good about his team the entire season. And with just that situation, that he has confidence in any of his ball players.
Edmond misses. Jackson misses. Poole misses. Antoine Stokes cutting, knifing through the lane. Short on the layup. Stokes averaging 17 points a game. He's had many problems today getting his shots to fall. Only 3 points for Antoine Stokes. 1 3-pointer, and that's it. And he is visibly frustrated.
You have to like his leadership, though. He saw he had a lane. He tried to create it. He's just a little short on the layup attempt.
.433, 48-47. High Point on top of Crossland. Edmond. Jackson, strong rebound. Tough move, and it's good.
Again, the height advantage, the second and third rebound attempts going to High Point. Ends up giving this 3-point lead here.
11 points for Kevin Jackson. And High Point wants to get a timeout, and they're on top. 50-47. The timeout is going to go to Crossland. It looked like High Point had called the timeout. High Point's Jared Stinson. They have 1 timeout remaining with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left in the game, trailing by 3, 47-50.
This is a situation that Crossland has not been in very frequently this year, being behind. But you look forward to the senior leadership to take charge right here.
On the line for Crossland, a 22-0 record. And right now, they have their backs against the wall, trailing 50-47 in what would possibly be their last game of the season.
We have Lawrence Littleford attempting to get in the game. Referee Charles Ball had to make sure that the first warning had not gone off. Had the warning gone off, he would have to wait for the first dead ball to come back into play.
So High Point comes back onto the floor with Martin, Edmond, Poole, Jackson, and Tyrone Walter. Jared Stinson is not in the lineup. And back in now, Omari McKenzie for the Cavaliers. And here's McKenzie. 2-3 zone by High Point. They get it down low, and the bucket by Lawrence Littleford, and he also draws the foul.
Makes Coach Franklin look like a genius right there and getting Littleford back in the ball game.
10 points for Littleford.
Jared Stinson reports back in for the Eagles. I believe Coach Welch is going to go offense and defense with him. Getting him on the floor as often as he can on the offensive end and trying to get him off so he's not able to pick up his 5th foul on defense.
50-49 your score, 3:59 left. Free throw off by Littleford, rebounded by Nicky Edmond, and Edmond wisely holds it up. Edmond has played a great basketball game today. He, along with Kevin Jackson. Man-to-man defense. Both teams bearing down, 3:41 left. Poole calling for the ball inside, and it's out of bounds off of the hand of Lawrence Littleford.
High Point is going to spread the floor, working the ball around, looking for the easy lay-in.
3:33 left, 50-49. High Point on top of Crossland. They go inside. Great backdoor cut by Jared Stinson.
And Coach Franklin was yelling from the sideline to watch Stinson, who appeared to be open from the onside of that play.
McKenzie inside. He has it partially blocked. Another block by Poole. Pump fake, and a foul called inside. Sam Lewis, in the land of the trees, used his head, went up with the head fake, and drew contact.
Yes, he did. That's one of the few times they were able to get a second and third shot. Interesting move on that play. When the foul was called, number 42 for the Eagles, Dexter Martin jumped in the referee's face and said, the foul was on me, the foul was on me. To make sure that that was not the fifth foul call on 41 Jared Stinson.
Sam Lewis, 72% free throw shooter. And his first shot is off the mark. 3-point ball game, 52-49 High Point. And Ernie Welch wants to talk about it a little bit as the Eagles call a timeout. They have 2 timeouts remaining. This is what high school basketball is all about, folks. Close games, great competition, and a whole lot of sportsmanship.
You'd be very disappointed between the number 1 and 2 seed if you didn't see this kind of game, Gus.
And the fans here, as you can tell, as the cheerleaders perform from High Point, the fans here are excited and enthusiastic about being here. So both these teams playing well. Crossland, if you notice, Gary, when they were extremely successful, they were going to Omari McKenzie, allowing him to do things off the dribble, find people or take shots. They've gotten away from that in the 4th quarter of play.
Well, you have to give credit to the High Point defense for one. They're making him, they're playing defense on a lot further away from the basket.
And the second shot is also off the mark by Lewis. And it goes out of bounds off of Julian Peterson.
Again, not to belabor the fact, but some of the Crossland players do seem to be laboring a little bit here.
And here's Stinson handling the pressure. Senior point guard. Nice look down low. Martin can't get the first one, and he gets the second one to fall. Dexter Martin, a big layup there. 54-49.
Crossland is going to have to do a much better job on boxing out to stop these second and third attempts by the Eagles.
Antoine Stokes going baseline, and he's tied up. Brings up a jump ball, and the Cavaliers will hold on to it. But it looked like that may have been a traveling call.
You asked earlier about the ball being in Omar's hand. I noticed on that last drive that the other four Crossland players seem to be standing around watching Antoine go to the basket.
Here's Stokes for three, and he's fouled behind the three-point line. He will shoot 3 shots.
Excellent opportunity to cut down this deficit, stopping the clock. Chance to put 3 points on for the Cavaliers.
Kevin Jackson with the foul, his third. So Antoine Stokes, a 79% free throw shooter, their leader, who's averaging 17 points a game, has 3 points today. 3 shots here. First one is good.
Coach Franklin had to be very comfortable with Mr. Stokes on the line at this particular time.
That makes it a 54-50 game. Second shot, also good. And he nails all 3 free throws. Makes it a 2-point ball game, 54-52. 2:40 left in the contest. This is what you pay to see. This one, folks, going down to the wire. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in one of these teams' season.
Watch the 5 count. Watch the 5 count.
Poole to the basket.
A lot of
This shot won't go. Rebounded by Martin. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line, but there's an injured player. That's Eric Poole, who drove to the basket and went down hard.
Liverpool had no choice but to create that foul rather than give Martin an easy lay-in.
54-52. Both teams now in the bonus with 17 fouls apiece. As Dexter Martin, the best free throw shooter on the team, cannot get the first one to go.
Has not been in sync this entire game offensively.
Martin into the regular season, 51 for 60 from the line. And the second one is good. 3-point ball game, 55-52. 2:05 left. Eagles stand in the 1-2-2 zone.
The penetration.
Stokes has it blocked. Poole sticking the big hand in there. 1 minute, 48 seconds left. 55-52 your score.
Crossland's going to have to take some chances here going for the steals.
Eagles trying to take some time off the clock, Coach. Almost a steal.
Good strategy here by Coach Welk.
Martin for the lay.
From the left side, Martin is deadly.
57-52. Here's McKenzie to the cup. And he's fouled. Crossland, their 22-0 undefeated record on the line, and they trail 57-52 with 1 minute and 17 seconds left. Is Kevin Jackson picks up his 4th foul.
Again, the spark plug has the balls in his hands, so you feel comfortable about this if you coach Franklin for the Cavaliers.
And McKenzie parries the free throw. He's 3 for 4 from the line. 12 points. Second free throw. No good, but the rebound is by Sam Lewis. Three-pointer won't fall, but the strong follow by Jeremy Luck. And it's a 2-point ball game, 57-55, 1 minute and 4 seconds left.
Luck was not boxed out, and he jumped out of the gym to get that basket.
58 seconds. Stinson to the hole. Rebounded by Jackson. And a jump ball. This one will go to High Point. 51 seconds left in the season. 2-point ball game. 57-55, and the Eagles will call timeout. They have one left.
There was good penetration that time on behalf of Jared Stinson. However, he did not have to take the jump shot. You want to get a layup if you can, or if not, you want to back it out and force Crossland to foul you to get you an easy free throw attempt.
And there you take a look at the Crossland bench as Coach Levi Franklin discusses X's and O's. What do you think he's telling his team right now?
I think he has to tell them to make sure that they have to box out. If a shot is taken by High Point, he does not want second or third attempts to go back to them. Also, they're going to have to overplay and go for a steal with them being down by 2 points with under 1 minute to play.
Now, if they do decide, High Point, to stall the basketball, how soon do you foul?
It depends on how he feels about his shooters. I would think he wants to foul not too quickly, but enough time for them to come down and get at least 2 or 3 possessions.
Last time these two teams met, it was at High Point, and the finish was 80-79. Crossland walked away, and they remained undefeated. And this game looking similar, not as many points being scored, however, just as exciting. 57-55, both teams in the bonus.
This is the out-of-bounds play that has sprung Jared Stinson open quite a few times.
One timeout for both teams. And High Point has to use their last timeout. Nicky Edmond couldn't find anybody, and he signals for the timeout before the 5-second call. Excellent
play by Crossland that time. Of course, before you want to go for the steal, you want to create. You want to force the other team to call a timeout or create a turnover if you can. Good hustling defense on the part of the Cavaliers.
So Crossland has one timeout remaining, and the Eagles from High Point, no timeouts. And 51 seconds left.
That may not be too much of a factor in the ball game now. You have two coaches with a lot of experience. You can always get a substitution in at the proper time that can give you an opportunity to set the kind of defense or the offense that you want.
Both teams in the 1-and-1 situation. As Crossland sends onto the floor Peterson, Stokes, McKenzie, Jeremy Luck, and Sam Lewis. Here we go.
Watch the inside pass to Stinson again. There it is.
And they turn the ball over. Stinson unable to hold on to it, and Julian Peterson comes up with the steal. 43 seconds remaining.
Good penetration.
And a great layup by McKenzie. A tie ball game, 57-57, 33 seconds left. No timeouts for High Point, one for Crossland. We could be headed for overtime.
Where's Edmond? He has to have the ball in his hands now.
They're going to play for the last shot. 18 seconds left.
You want to look for the penetration. You want to look for the dump-off pass to Stinson.
12 seconds. Edmond to the hole, and he's fouled. Nicky Edmond fouled with 8 seconds left.
Good penetration on the part of Edmond, who looked confused early on at that play, beginning of that play.
Fouled by Omari McKenzie, his second. Edmond will step to the line for 2 shots. He's a 70% free throw shooter, and he's 3 for 5 from the stripe today. These possibly the biggest free throws in his young career. And Coach Levi Franklin is going to make him think about it a little bit as he calls a timeout. That's the final timeout of the game. And the players from Crossland motion to our table, and they say they're going to win this game.
Apparently they know how close this game is now. They've been this close with High Point before. I like the confidence that they're showing.
8 seconds left. 2 shots for Nicky Edmond. Who do you want the ball to? Who do you want to have the ball in their hands, rather, when Crossland gets the ball back?
Well, obviously, we saw the three-point shot by Mr. McKenzie by the spark plug at the end of the quarter last halftime. So he's going to get the ball again. With 8 seconds, it gives him plenty of time to try his end-to-end rush.
(57-57) your score. This game has turned out to offer everything that one would expect from the #1 and #2 seed. And Nicky Edmond steps to the line for 2 shots. The score knotted at 57-57 and 8.1 seconds left. The winner of this game goes to the state championships at Cole Fieldhouse. And Edmond, the clutch free throw, makes it a 58-57 game. No timeouts for anybody. 8 seconds left.
Even if Edmond makes this shot, because McKenzie made that three-point long shot, it has to be in the back of the minds of the Eagle players. They cannot afford to lay off of him and give him a wide-open three-point shot.
58-57, and he hits the second one. 2-point game, 8 seconds left.
Clock is not starting till he picks the ball up.
6 seconds. McKenzie, and he hits it with no time left on the clock. And we're going to overtime. 59-59, the final after regulation.
It's only fitting, only fitting. Again, the Cavalier players, that was a man that came over here. Number 32, James Moore, who's known as a coach's favorite player, came over and told us that this game was not over. You like that confidence. You like that enthusiasm.
And the man that does it again, Omari McKenzie, when it's prime time, he wants the ball in his hands, and he has 13 points.
At this point, going into overtime, both teams will be awarded one free throw. Excuse me, one timeout.
Both teams both teams get one timeout. 59-59 is your score now. 3 minutes remaining. They have been so good this year because they have the ultimate amount of confidence needed to win ball games despite what the odds are.
These guys, again, haven't played JV together, haven't played boys club together. They know what each other can do. They have a lot of confidence in each of their teammates.
So we got overtime in PG County. Novak Fieldhouse, 2 determined coaches. Ernie Welch on one side and Levi Franklin on the other side. 2 well-coached teams. The #1, #2 seeds. What else can you ask for? And the tip is controlled by High Point. Here's Stinson. His shot won't go. Dexter Martin, the putback, and he's fouled.
And if you're crossing, you want to box out better. You want to alleviate those second and third shots. Coach Franklin is yelling from the sidelines, but box him out.
Foul on Jeremy Luck, his 4th. And Dexter Martin, a 90% free throw shooter, is at the line. And he sinks it. Martin, 1 for 2 from the line, 4 points. 6'4" junior. Second shot won't go. But Antoine Stokes with the block out.
Good heads-up play by Stokes that time.
And here's the player of the game so far, McKenzie. Trying to get his shot off. Baseline, and he's fouled. Looks like Kevin Jackson, the 6'9" center. And it is Jackson, his 5th foul of the game, and he will come out. However, Jackson with an outstanding performance.
Yes, he did. He gave Coach Welch everything he needed with the good hustle on the offensive and the defensive boards.
Jackson, 13 points. 60-59 is your score. Both teams with one timeout. We're in overtime, and there's Jackson, young man who hadn't played a lot of organized basketball. Great game, ends with 13. And Omari McKenzie hits the free throw. 14 points for him, ties the game up at 60. This young man has come out and just played outstanding basketball, and he has pretty much kept this Crossland team in it by himself.
And he's only a junior.
Stokes with the rebound inside. Peterson scrambling for it. It goes out of bounds, and High Point will get the basketball. 2:32 left. Tyrone Walter in the game, sophomore guard, and he's being guarded by McKenzie.
If you're Crossland, you want him to handle the ball. You want to put a lot of pressure on him every time he touches the ball. Don't want Edmonds to handle the ball. Here's Walter.
They're running the weave on top. And 2:06 left. Here's Stinson. His shot won't go.
Again, you want a layup.
Left.
You'd like to get a layup out of that spread offense if you can.
Stokes going to the basket. Crossland takes the lead.
Eric Poole's a little slow in helping out on defense that time.
141, 62-60 your score. Martin inside, has it swatted away. No whistles, and Stokes comes up with the basketball. And there is an injured player on the floor. That's Jared Stinson.
And diving for the loose ball, Stokes seemed to have rolled over the leg of number 41, Jared Stinson, for the High Point Eagles.
And you look at both of these teams now, and if you look into the eyes of the Crossland players, it looks like they wanted a little bit more.
They have the intensity back. I think Coach Franklin has the guys right where he wants them. They believe in themselves. They believe in the coach. They believe in their system.
And Coach Ernie Welch is on the floor right now, tending to Jared Stinson. It looks like he's having problems with his left eye. However, this does give Stinson and the rest of his teammates, who have pretty much been playing the same players for this game, an opportunity to get a rest.
But with the injury, Stinson will have to come out at least for one stoppage play.
(62-60) is your score. 1:29 left in this overtime session. Now, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if Coach Welch was saying, okay, son, take your time, get a good rest, you know, so we can get things going here.
Well, you hope he's not injured. And as you stated, that's the case, and it's a good opportunity to give him a much-needed breather.
And he gets off and walks off on his own. Gets up and walks off on his own. But here come the Crossland players again. Omari McKenzie, number 50. Gutsy ball player.
And I'm seeing something in Mr. Stokes I haven't seen since early in the fourth quarter. He's getting his teammates fired up. He's talking to the fans in the stands. He's ready to play winning ball.
And a timeout with 1:29 left. The Eagles called their final timeout of the ball game.
Let's call that the first overtime. It may not be the ball game.
Of the overtime session, exactly. No timeouts remaining for High Point now. And Crossland still with a timeout. 1:29 left. Been a seesaw battle for the entire game. The biggest lead has been 8 points, which Crossland had at one time. However, High Point led by as many as 5. And there's Ernie Welch. This is what it's all about in this sport.
And by Coach Welch using this timeout, he will be able to get Stinson back into the ball game.
And that was the smart thing to do, and Stinson does return to the floor, although he's still wincing in pain. because of problems he's having with his right eye. He keeps touching his right eye.
He's a great ball player, and he has a minute 29 left in this first overtime, so we expect him to be okay.
And this could quite possibly be the last minute and 29 seconds left in his high school career. 1:25 left, and here's McKenzie. Going baseline. They're going to let McKenzie do his thing and keep the ball in his hands.
Well, he has to be careful on those drives now because he's going inside where the trees are.
Almost a turnover by Peterson. Stokes. 1:03 left.
Triple T.
McKenzie, great handle, and he wisely pulls it out again. 55 seconds left, and it looks like they are going to try to run the clock out. Here's Stokes on the baseline, short on the jumper, rebounded by Poole. 45 seconds left, 62-60. Stinson going to the hole, and he's fouled. Questionable decision-making there by Antoine Stokes. No shot clock in high school basketball. He was on the baseline, didn't have to shoot the ball, but selected to do it.
Well, he had an opportunity earlier to dish the ball off to number 40, Sam Lewis. I'm surprised that he didn't. Again, no shot clock, no reason to force anything with your team ahead at this point.
Jeremy Luck with the foul, his fifth, and he will come out of the ball game. But Jared Stinson goes to the free throw line. 74% free throw shooter. But he has had problems with his right eye after taking a hard fall about 45 seconds ago. Let's see how that'll affect him from the stripe. He needs to bury both of these free throws here. And Stinson, ice water running through his veins there. He nails the first one, 62-61.
It's the kind of performance you expect from a great ball player.
And the second one is good, and you got a tie ball game, 37 seconds left, and here's the man of the hour again, Omari McKenzie, going to the hole, inside, and a block shot. Great block by Stinson, and Stinson turns the ball over. Dribbling with his head down, he lost control, and it went out of bounds.
He got a little overexcited right there. On that last play, Lawrence Littlefoot went hard to the hole and had a shot, actually was stripped of the ball by Eric Poole.
And Coach Levi Franklin wants to get a timeout and talk things over. 25.7 seconds left in the first overtime session. And I think we must say the first overtime
that's right,
session.
That's right.
62-62. Couldn't ask for a better game, folks. The winner here will play at Cole Fieldhouse in the state championship playoff. And this being the 4A regional championship game, I mean, hey, what a game to watch.
What we've seen in the past several years in PG County, that the teams that do well here quite frequently do very well in the state finals. For the last 3 years, we've had at least 2 champions in the different classifications, the 4A, 3A, 2A, and single A groups.
So let's set the mood for you here. 25.7 seconds left. 62-62 your score. No timeouts for either team. Crossland has come back, and Omari McKenzie hit a big shot to send it into overtime. Now we'll see if he can do it to win the game for the Cavaliers. And McKenzie instantly goes to the ball. Here we go. They're going to double team him. Breaks the pressure. And it goes out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by High Point. 16 seconds left.
McKenzie is just as adept with his right hand as his left. He seemed to have been trapped at the action line, but he was able to squeeze through both Eagle players.
McKenzie only a junior. And here he is, 15 seconds to the bucket, off the mark, gets the steal. Here's Stokes.
There's a senior.
To Lewis, inside to Peterson, and a foul on the play with 3.2 seconds left. Julian Peterson fouled by Nicky Edmond, his second, and now Peterson, a 70% free throw shooter, steps to the line, and he must make at least one free throw.
A lot of action around the basket, a lot of bodies flying as referees decided to let them play. However, they could not overlook the last foul there.
12 points for Peterson. Big free throws here. Tie ball game at 62. And he nails the first one.
A lot of pressure on the 6'5" sophomore.
But still a lot of time left. No timeouts for either team. Second one. He misses.
Stinson has
Here's
the ball.
Stinson, 1 second on the clock. The shot, and it's over. Final score, Crossland remains undefeated, and they move to 23-0 with a 63-62 win over High Point. And folks, the games don't get any better than this.
Congratulations to the Crossland Cavaliers for advancing to Cofield House for the first time since 1988.
Final score, 63-62. Players of the game.